What's up, y'all? Will here at Schedulefly. This is a fun episode with Chris Duggan at Cast Iron Waffles and Coffee, a place where I spent, hundreds if not thousands of hours over the last 12 years, drinking their coffee and eating their incredible Belgian Liège waffles and working on Schedulefly stuff. Pretty much wrote the entire first Restaurant Owners Uncorked book sitting up at their bar drinking espresso. Incredible business, incredible family, the Duggan family. Really have a ton of respect for these folks. This is a great story of Chris and his wife Krista and their 5 children. Moved to Charlotte from Nebraska about 12, 13 years ago and got this awesome place going. Just phenomenal Belgian Liège waffles. I mean, these Belgian waffles they're made fresh there. They've got these sugar crystals in the dough, and these things are just great, plain, as they call them, naked. And then you can get all these awesome toppings on it. But they've built this business with an idea and turned it into an institution here in South Charlotte, and I've had tons of respect for them in the way they've run this business for many years. And Chris has been on the podcast before. I'm sure he'll be on it again. I hope so. But I got a chance to go hang out with him at the shop yesterday, and we had a great time and we had a wonderful conversation. And I hope you will enjoy this episode. Before we dive in, couple of words from our sponsors. The first one is Flip, F-L-Y-P, Flip Mobile Banking. Y'all, this is a phenomenal company. They have built a mobile banking platform for the hospitality industry. If you own or run a restaurant, I highly encourage you to go check out Flip. Flipmoney.com, F-L-Y-P, flipmoney.com. This is an incredible employee benefit. I mean, just a couple of things. If you've got people that are on paper checks, if you've got people that are coming to you needing advances on their pay before payday, if you've got people that are, have bank accounts where they're being charged for overdraft fees and charged for this fee and that fee, ATM fees, minimum balances, all that stuff, you need to check out Flip. I mean, they literally have built this out and are building this out for the hospitality industry. It is incredible. It's a great benefit if you're an employee. You don't have to have this as a benefit. If you just want to work with just a awesome banking company, then it's a mobile platform. You have an app, you have a checking account, you have a rewards-based debit card, and for employers, they're also actually building out a reward system that you can use to highlight your best and your hardest working employees. So head on over to flipmoney.com, give them a look. Great employee benefit, great unique employee benefit that you should check out. And the next sponsor is a new sponsor, Pop Menu. And we're super thrilled at Schedulefly to be partnered with Pop Menu. We have a lot of mutual customers, and over the course of working on this partnership, we found all of those customers to be super happy with what Pop Menu offers. They are it's a must-have technology going into 2023 and beyond. It's all about making your day easier and your sales bigger. They're going to simplify your marketing operations, bring in more guests, capture customer data for personalized remarketing to keep all those customers coming back. So with one super simple to use platform that integrates with most point of sale systems like Toast and Square and a host of others, Pop Menu starts with a beautifully designed, easy to update interactive menu that transforms the guest experience online. It includes a brand new website that's optimized for search engines like Google for no additional cost, automated digital marketing, online ordering and wait listing, never miss a call. They've got a really cool AI answering solution, and there's just so much more. But they're going to help you build incredible SEO, get people to your site, keep them there, and keep them engaged going forward after you've had a chance to serve them. So go hit the link in there in our bio. Go to get.popmenu.com. Let them know that the folks at Schedule Fly sent you, and they're going to take great care of you. Either way, they would take great care of you. But we're super thrilled about this partnership, and check out Pop Menu. All right, here we go. On to our episode with Chris Duggan at Cast Iron Waffles and Coffee. All right, we are live, and I am here at a place that is very special to me personally, Cast Iron Waffles, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm with Chris Duggan, owner, founder, and y'all have been here. How long have you been here, Chris?
Since 2010.
Since
so
2010.
We're pushing 13 years here.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I was here watching y'all build this place out and waiting for this awesome coffee and waffle shop. Spent many, many years hanging out at the end of that bar up there. I basically wrote that first book sitting at your bar years ago. That was in 2010, so it's hard to believe. We've known each other a long time now.
We have. I remember when that book came out.
Well, so y'all tell the backstory. I've had you on here before, but for folks who haven't heard that episode, tell the backstory about how you came to come here to Charlotte and start Cast Iron Waffles and Coffee.
Yeah, my wife and I, we met in high school and kind of went our separate ways in college, but got married in 1994 and raising 5 kids in Lincoln, Nebraska, and just got tired of the long winters, and along about 2008 we started looking for a change and decided to develop a new concept and move to a better climate. So we landed on Charlotte, and we moved here in the summer of 2010. Really didn't know the city at all, but our location here is kind of unique. It's a bunch of live works, so you have businesses on the main floor and residents up above, which is kind of a cool concept. That's how this whole country was built, basically. People working downstairs, living upstairs, but it's not quite as cool when you have 5 kids in a 3-bedroom condo up above your shop, but we figured it would just be a short-term thing. We're going to be in here all the time anyways, and so we did. We just pulled the trigger and came down to Charlotte and just started building it out all that summer, and pretty much did most of the work ourselves down here, and we opened up October 1st of 2010.
Okay, so wow, man. I remember when y'all had all your kids. I was just blown away. It was amazing that y'all were able to pull off having such a big family up there, and you had them working here, and over the years, I guess, did they all work here at some point?
They have all worked in our shop.
Yep. Yeah.
Starting with, I've got pictures of when they're putting in the plumbing, big piles of red clay piled up in this shop, and upstairs it was pretty darn crowded. I have four girls and 1 son, so they learned to share and they learned to use their vertical space.
Vertical space.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of somebody that worked here, this is such a cool story, man. And you know part of this story, but you don't know the whole thing. So Maria Panchenko worked here for 6 years.
Yes.
Used to serve me coffee all the time, and I guess it was earlier this year or last year in the fall, I see this Schedule Fly trial come in, and it's called Daily Grind Coffee, and it's down in Lancaster, and it says Maria Panchenko. I'm like, could that be her? So I call her, and sure enough, it's her. And, she has just started her own coffee shop down there. She's, I think when she started here, she was 16 or something. And
she's 15 years
15.
old.
So now she's married. She's got a kid.
Yep.
They started this place 8 months ago. But I want to tell you something that she told me this morning, and she asked me to please pass this on to you. She said that you and Krista, flat out gave her the blueprint of what it takes to start and build a business, the work ethic, the coming in early, and she just learned and never even knew she was going to start a coffee shop, but she got down there. She's a realtor too, but started thinking about there wasn't any coffee shops, and she's like, well, I learned from the best in the world. Let me see if I can, try my hand at this. But she emphasized, please tell Chris, that y'all taught, y'all really led by example, but taught and guided her, and just all the lessons she learned. She said she's just applied all of it there, and it gave her all the confidence she needed that she could do it. So that's such a cool. I love seeing
that story play out, and I've seen it so many times over the years, of somebody that works in this industry, learns, applies themselves, works hard, pays attention, listens, keeps getting better, and then builds the confidence to go hang their own shingle one day, and then they take the same principles, and now she'll teach, it spreads that way. And I mean, I just thought that's so cool, man. And I'm not surprised. I've seen your work ethic too, but I wanted to make sure to share that because it was really important to her that y'all know that.
I appreciate that, Will. Yeah, she worked for us for a long time. She was our best employee, and that's my favorite story that over and over is we have a philosophy that when you have a staff, a good leader doesn't create followers, they create more leaders. And
yes.
So our policy here is really just, we have a standard that we set for what we want to do and how we want to do it, and we teach that standard by example more than anything.
Yeah.
But then beyond that, we just want our people to be who they are.
Yeah.
It's the personalities and the different, nobody likes to be micromanaged.
Right.
And that's, I would say, how we're able to keep our staff with very little turnover year to year. People come and go in this industry. For us, it's mostly because they're going off to college, and we celebrate that. Or
right.
They're going to go open their own business, and we celebrate that. And with Maria, we were so excited for her when she opened her own shop and knew that she would do such a good job. We actually went down there about a few months ago, took my granddaughter, and we all went into the shop. We were hoping she was there. She wasn't there, but
yeah.
We took a picture, and sent it to her from the front of her shop, and we're just super proud of her.
I told her this morning, I was like, look, I just listening to that passion she had for, sharing her story and what happened from here to there. I told her, I was like, in a couple of weeks, I got to come down there, and we're going to do an episode with her too.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a cool place.
She's
just
gem.
on the
It's
pictures
really cool.
I saw, it looks neat.
It's beautiful, and she's doing a great business down there. It's interesting because Lancaster's a small town, but a lot of these small towns, there are very few amenities. So when you put something good in there and you do it the right way, like I know Maria is, it's busy. You're going to have a good business.
Well, small towns also, I think they value, they like having their own place. Like, this is our coffee shop. This is an independent small business, and they tend to be pretty supportive of that stuff.
100%. Yep. When we moved into this location, it was really not a good economy in 2010.
Yeah,
and
right.
There's like 10 units in here, and there were 2 of them occupied, a haircutting place and us, and all these condos and townhomes and stuff weren't here.
Yeah.
So we honestly were a little concerned about the amount of people around us, and it was very sparse. But we opened the door, and it was just word of mouth. We haven't done much of any conventional advertising. Just word of mouth and some social media and just stuff like that.
Oh, you got a great product, and you take great care of people, man. That's a good combination.
Thank you.
So over the years, you all have you had mall kiosks that you tried at one point. I think you had a second. Well, it was like a royalty location down in.
Yeah, it was a licensed store. Had a couple of those actually.
You had a couple of those.
Yep, with this concept, and having a new concept that's really not been done before. Belgian Liège waffles and premium coffee. That's all we do.
Yeah.
Kind of a niche for sure, but we tried a mall kiosk, and back when we started the planning for that, malls was a whole different thing. I mean, it was still a relevant entity.
Yeah.
But it took so long to develop it, and by the time we finally opened that thing up, the malls were in decline.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And we were there about a year or so, and rent's really expensive, and we've learned a lot of lessons along the way, I can tell you that.
Yeah, but y'all have. That's what's so cool is that y'all learn, and you're not married to something. If it's not working, you make a change and just keep iterating. And you're sending. You were sending waffles out west, right? So coffee shops out there, but now they're making their own.
Yep. Yeah,
you were sending the dough,
wholesale dough.
Okay.
Yeah, we did finished. We tried a lot of different things. We did a production facility with the finished blast chill frozen waffles, which were really good quality. Then back that up to just frozen dough. And our entity out in Wyoming and Montana, they're making our product, but it's our dough that they're making.
Okay.
So again, just a unique product that you don't see in a lot of locations in the USA. There's more now than there were in 2010.
Yeah.
You see them popping up around, but yeah, it's a really unique flavor, and it's like any product. It comes back to who's making it and how are you making it.
Right.
It's more about the process than the ingredients.
Yeah.
And if you're really taking care to do that, we have a lot of customers from Europe that come in here specifically, like, this is the only place I've ever gone where I can get a real Belgian Liège waffle. So we appreciate that feedback.
They're so freaking good. They are so good. I used to eat that peanut butter banana waffle like on the daily. I'd have one a day, but I'm like at least for this month, I'm pretty committed. I'm like kind of full, basically carnivore, meat, dairy, fruit, like nothing else.
Yep, that's good. It's January. Everybody's on a diet. Everyone's in the gym.
Yeah.
Waffles are off the table for some people right now.
That'll change fast.
Yeah, we
we
just had a really busy holiday season, so
good.
Yeah, like any business, we're a little not too seasonal, but a little bit. January's kind of we can take a breather and fix some stuff and get ready for the spring and all the events coming up. We do a lot of catering and things like that too.
Well, what's next for y'all? Where are you taking it from here, or is it just you keep doing what you're doing?
We've gone down the road of expansion. Like I mentioned, we did some wholesale production. We did a couple of licensed stores and did the mall kiosk. And the licensed stores really were up and running and doing well. But what we've learned along the way is any successful business comes down to the people.
Yeah.
And that are running it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You could have the greatest concept in the world and even a great location, and the wrong person
totally
will make it fail. And you look at like a Maria, she's the right person.
Right.
She's going to make it work.
Yeah.
That's what good people do.
Yeah.
So our licensees, it's people that didn't work in our shop. They were just outside people that liked our concept and came in, and they had the right intentions.
Yeah.
They had enough money to get started and whatever. And
right.
And we did a lot of training with them, but it wasn't, you can't teach someone in a few, 10 sessions or 20 sessions of training what they learn by being in there and doing it, every day, 5 days a week for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the only way you're going to fully understand that concept.
Yeah.
So, I have a friend who's Chick-fil-A owner, and their policy is kind of the same. You have to work in a Chick-fil-A for, I think it's at least a year before they'll even consider you for, location, which makes sense. So we've kind of gone away from the licensed approach. We have contemplated doing franchises. We're just kind of 50-50 on that. If we want to move forward with it, we know the concept is there.
What are the pros and cons that you weigh on that when you say you're 50-50?
Yeah, the pros, obviously, we can push our concept out there into the marketplace, and we believe that there would be a good amount of interest in it because there's a lot of different types of franchises. There's franchises that are millions of dollars to start. There's a lot that are, $400,000 or $500,000 to get going, and then you have a concept like ours, which is a lot more user friendly to, let's say, an entrepreneur that doesn't have $300,000 laying around. They could get started for a lot less than that. So I believe with the niche product and the startup cost would be a positive. We could reach a lot of people. The cons, we're balanced with quality of life is a big thing for us with our 5 kids, and
you got grandkids now too.
We do. I got 3 of them now. What a blessing. But yeah, people say, what's it like to run a restaurant? And I'm like, I can't even claim that we're full restaurant. We're like restaurant light. We're 7 to 4.
Yeah.
So we're not open in the evenings, and I know restaurant owners, they're working hard, and a lot of them working, 7 a.m. to midnight or 2 a.m.
Right.
So we just never wanted to pursue that. So for us, quality of life is a big thing. So if we do franchise in the future, we don't want it to be such that it takes over everything else and takes away from what we're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah, initially that would probably be a ton of extra work, travel. Have you talked to franchise companies?
We've talked to a couple over the years.
Yeah.
And of course they want to franchise us because that's what they do. You know,
Warren Buffett says, "Don't ask the barber if you need a haircut, man."
Exactly. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean they do, and then it probably comes down to like really finding the right. And there's a lot of those companies finding the right fit. And
very true.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to. Like
Correct.
you can take your time and make the right decision, and you'll come to that decision whenever you do, and no rush. And
absolutely. And I think if we were to do that, my biggest concern, I don't want to just sell somebody a franchise.
Yeah.
Because the money, it's not about the money. If I'm going to be in business with someone, I want them to be successful.
Right.
I want them to do what we're doing and experience the same, quality of life. And we like our business. We like what we do. So that's really what it is for us.
I mentioned Chad Beal at Bohemian Bull down there in Charleston. He made his way in the industry for like 15 years at Carrabba's, and he was at Chick-fil-A for like 5 or 10, and he's been doing Bohemian Bull almost 10 years now, or 8 or 9 years. Spent the last couple years kind of ramping up the franchise. I think they sold like 6 or 8 licenses in 2022. They started at the beginning of the year. When I was talking to him about that, he said the exact same thing you did, which is he really he likes teaching people. He enjoys coaching and managing and teaching and helping people reach their potential and grow and learn, and that's just what drives him. Like that gets him excited, and so he's in Dallas right now, I think, because they got like Dallas, Houston, Greenville, South Carolina. Like they're just but he'd be a really good guy to talk to because he's been at it 2 or 3 years and vetted all the different franchise companies and has, learned a ton. And I want to get you guys connected at some point.
I definitely like that. I like the way he did it. He mastered his business.
He mastered his
first.
business. Yep.
Because there's people who say, well, what's it take to have a successful restaurant? I'm like, how long do you have? It's not 100 things, it's 1,000 things. And if you get 950 of them right, you're probably going to go out of business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's about systemizing every little aspect of your business. So every day your shop in the morning looks like it just opened for the first time today.
Yeah.
And when you close at night, everything's systemized. So it's always the same. Everyone gets the same experience when they come in. So,
well, y'all have always done that. You got new floors.
I did. I laid that myself. Well,
I figured you probably did.
Yeah.
When did you do that?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah, about mid-year. The old floor, it was done. 11 years was enough.
Yeah, man. Had some wear. That's awesome.
Just crawling around in here for about a week or two.
So y'all, you don't own this building, right?
We do not.
You lease it.
We attempted to purchase it back in 2010.
Okay.
But the real estate collapse, especially LiveWorks. So back in those days, everyone they were buying properties with nothing down, and LiveWorks were qualifying under residential mortgages. So people really abused, and they'd buy 10 of them.
Yeah.
Well, when the real estate market collapsed, their tenants upstairs and tenants downstairs all stopped paying rent, and they foreclosed on more LiveWorks than I think almost anything else. So the banks just flat out were not lending money on LiveWorks. So we entered into a lease purchase, and it didn't work out. The developer got foreclosed on, so someone else came in and bought all 10 units, and we became really good friends, actually, and we leased from him.
Okay. Y'all had a location over there at South Park for a while.
Yep.
For a few years.
Yeah, almost 4 years. Actually, the guy that owns this property here was a investor partner in that.
Okay. Gotcha.
But Chris and I ran it.
Yeah.
As one of our own shops.
If you were, if you did go through the franchise route or down the franchise route, like what are some of the things that you think are important? Like we talked about Marie and her place. Like, is it a good Main Street, small town type concept, or how does it need to be a big city type concept, or could it?
I think a cast iron waffles concept could be successful in almost any town
with the right people.
With the right people, that is just a prerequisite.
Yeah,
wrong people are going out of business. But but where you are in that town is really important. We kind of lucked out here. We didn't know this area that well,
right?
South Charlotte, Ballantyne area, but we just by accident really landed within a mile of 3 huge schools.
Yeah.
And we are surrounded by rooftops.
Yeah.
So our product, Liège Waffles, I'll compare it to our South Park location, was kind of the opposite of here. This was a very corporate, high-end business people.
Yep.
There's houses, but away from there a little bit. Not easy to park. You had to park in a little parking garage to come into the shop. Coffee's about convenience, so there's that.
Yeah.
So that shop it did okay. It was profitable, but it wasn't to the point where, after a lease renewal and they wanted to raise the rent, we decided we're not going to continue with this because our time is not worth it. But here where we are, it's families and kids, and this place is just packed with kids, and we've always attempted to keep our pricing to the point where a family of 4 could come in and have a great breakfast and coffee and for a reasonable amount of money. So it's not like something they can go to twice a year. That's something they can come to once a week or something like that. But paying attention to demographics for our concept, really important.
Yeah, you all have always had. You get kids coming in here after school and stuff like that.
Yeah. I will say our 5 kids, you mentioned earlier, have they all worked here? They have all worked here. And I would consider that one of the biggest blessings of owning this shop, because they all went to the high school right down the street.
Yeah.
It was like instant friends for all of them because all their friends were coming in here
right.
like, oh, you guys own Cast Iron Waffles. But, having kids that are in sports and they're busy in high school and that they can't really have a job anywhere else when they're that, I can work 2 days a month. You're not going to get a job somewhere.
Right.
So having our kids being able to work in here and learn, we may have 1 or 2 of our kids in the future own a location.
Yeah,
they know it as well as we do.
Well, that was my next question. Are any of them interested in the entrepreneurial path or in carrying on the family business?
Yes, I would say maybe 1 or 2 of them. They've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
They've seen it all.
Yeah, they've seen when a fridge goes out in the middle of a Sunday, or those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Challenges is what it is. It's the industry we're in. Every job has challenges. Every industry has that. But they also see the freedom that we have. And people ask me all the time, like, what is the best thing about owning your own business? And it's always my answer. It's one word: freedom.
Yeah.
You're going to work just as hard, probably harder, working for yourself than you are working for someone else.
Yeah.
But you should like what you do. But the biggest benefit is that you get to design your life. You get to design your schedule to work. Sometimes you got to work 18 hours in a day. But if you want to be at your daughter's volleyball game, you can be at that. So
when you're working 18 hours in a day and it's your baby, you don't mind it at all.
True.
You want to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I wonder, I always wonder, my oldest is a freshman in college now, so we're still, a little ways from that. But they've been pretty fortunate. They've seen, this is all I've done since, we've been doing this for 16 years. Bella's 18, so all they've known is me, sort of always on, always off. I'm flexible to do anything, anytime, but somebody calls or texts, something needs to be done, then it gets done right then,
100%. I'm sure you get accused all the time of never working. People see that, they're like, "Well, do you work ever?" I'm like, "No, not really."
Always and never. I just realized something, man. I just see my Johnny Cash mug.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Are you a Johnny Cash fan? Or
Absolutely.
is that just random?
No, Krista's brother actually painted that and gave it to us.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's been hanging there since the first day.
Oh, man. I mean, I know I've noticed it before. I just never, I don't know.
That's crazy. That's on your mug, too.
Oh, I love Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
We went to his museum in Nashville last August? Did I tell you about the RV trip we
No. Tell me, because we owned an RV for a while.
I don't know how y'all did it with 7 people. I've just got a family of 5. So we had this idea that we were going to go out to Boulder last summer. Well, it started because one of our customers, Dave Query, who I've gotten to know real well, he owns restaurants out there in Boulder, and he called me up. He's like, "Hey, man, Dana and I are going to Michigan to our lake house for the whole month of August. Just bring your family out to Boulder and stay in our house. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to. He's like, you better freaking do it. So I called him back. I was like, how about if I bring an RV and park it in your driveway? He's like, let's go.
Neighbors will love it.
So it was like that time, because I've always had this idea, like, it would be cool, to do this RV trip. I learned for us, it would have been better to fly out there, do all the driving around out there, and then fly back, because I picked up this RV in Waxhaw, and we drove it to Boulder. And hilarity and stress and everything else in between ensued. But we stopped it. We did stop in Nashville, and I loved that museum. It was phenomenal. It was the one thing that I made my family do, like the whole trip. I'm like, I don't care, we'll do whatever you want to do, but you have to go to the Johnny Cash Museum. So we went to that. But, dude, we got out to Boulder, and we had been there for like a couple of days, and we were sitting at lunch one day, and everybody's kind of like looking at me, and they're quiet. I'm like, all right, y'all are all in on something, and I'm not. Like, what's going on? They're like, we want to fly home. And I'm like, okay, well, how's the RV going to get back? And they're like, well, can't we just get it towed? I'm like, how many times have you seen an RV being towed? Like, you think there's a dude that just was going to show up tomorrow and tow this thing home? Like, no. They're like, well, we really hate the RV.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, you know what? No problem. So I took them to the airport the next day, got them on flight, sent them back, and then I spent like a week. I spent 2 days in Boulder. I went down to Santa Fe and spent 2 days, and took like a week to get back on my.
Just brought your house with you.
32-foot RV.
Oh my goodness, Will! You should have called me. I would have told you the only person enjoying the RV is everybody except the guy who drives it and owns it.
Dude, it was. I mean, we still laugh about that because they were just like so done with it, and I'm like Clark Griswold. I'm like, isn't this, this is awesome, and they're all like, no. But the problem is like, this. Like, I mean, you lived in Nebraska. Like, dude, once we left Memphis, and then we spent the next night in like Kansas City, and then from there, man, it's like driving through Kansas is like just a whole day or day and a half of like cornfields and soybean fields and some windmills every,
It's
wind
just a silo off in the distance. And once you pass it, another one pops up.
Even eastern Colorado is like that until you get to Denver. So they were just like, by the time we got there, they were just, man, they were just
It's a long drive.
They were done. I had a good time though, man. I drove that thing. I was just barreling down the interstate.
We used to drive ours to a hotel. Let's talk about not getting the use out of your RV. There was too many of us. We'd drive our RV to a hotel and park in the hotel parking lot. I'm like, what are we doing here? We could just stay in the hotel. That's
the part I didn't mention, is that by the time we got to Kansas City, I was parking at a hotel, and I was the only one in the freaking RV at night. And they're all like, the beds suck, and I want to get. I was like,
I'm sure anyone listening to this that has an RV knows exactly what we're talking about.
Oh my gosh, it was fun though. It was a good trip. But something that you can, you can learn from our experiences. If you're going to do that, go to where you're going to go and drive it around. It'd be cool to have one out there, like out in the Rockies and out. But the getting across the country part was a little challenging.
You mentioned, it's funny you mentioned that because you said you've been in business 16 years, schedule fly.
Yeah,
and it made me think of just time in business is your best friend. I see so many people that was like getting an RV. You at the beginning of the learning curve. You have to learn everything the hard way.
Yeah.
And to me, that relates to business too. You see so many people, I want to start a business, and they do, and they jump off the ship way too quickly.
Yeah.
When they get a few challenges and this just isn't going to work. It's just not going fast enough, or I'm not making money yet. Time in business was your best friend for sure. The longer you do something, the better you become at it.
We've always said, I feel like we're like dollar cost averaging into the restaurant industry and the business that we, there's peaks and troughs and highs and lows and good years and bad years and good economies and bad economies. But if you I think the problem that a lot of people have, particularly in this space, is like, you really got to have a long horizon and you got to be capitalized to endure that early grind and slow time and let the momentum build and have the patience and the the funding to get through that. Otherwise, it's like, holy crap, we've been at this for 15 months now, and we're like running out of money and no end in sight. And
for sure, yeah, your customer base is always expanding.
Yeah,
it never ceases to amaze me. Here we are on our 13th year, and it seems half the people that walk in. Have you ever been here before? No, never been in.
Especially in a place like Charlotte, there's so much growth and there's so many new people. But it's an interesting thing, man. I think when y'all did it, a really wise way, because you did the work. You probably bought some used stuff or whatever. Like your initial upfront investment is probably pennies on the dollar to what somebody could have spent doing this exact same concept with contracting it out, all new, brand new equipment, just like, and then that could be, hundreds of thousands of dollars in difference that,
100%.
You're behind the eight ball, like real fast. I remember there was a guy I interviewed for that first book, and he, Mick Heinekamp, he was building this brewery and pizzeria out in this small town in Colorado, and he had he and his wife had this initial business plan. It was $1 million. That's what they were gonna, and they kept trying to get loans, and the banks were like, heck no, man, like it's too much. And then they got it down, and they came back, and it was at like $750,000. Anyway, he kept having to iterate, and he finally came across this guy that was like teaching him all about buying used equipment and going to auctions. Dude started his business for $70,000, like $70,000 from $1 million business plan. And, think about the difference. You
don't have debt service.
That is the difference between being able to weather the early times and just folding fast because you're servicing debt and you've got all that money on the line, and it's just like, you better hit it out of the park early. You're done.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of small businesses are started on a credit card, but that doesn't mean you have to go buy all brand new equipment.
Yeah.
And, be your own general contractor. Maybe you don't know how to do plumbing, but you know how to use your phone.
Yeah.
And call 3 plumbers.
Yep.
And have them come out and give you 3 bids.
Yep.
And this country was built on the low bid. So
that's right.
You hire the guy that you get the best feel for, and you're managing your own project. You're saving 30% off the top. So if you have a $100,000 construction going on, or $200,000, whatever it is, take it times 30%, and that's going in your pocket.
Yep.
So, we were able to start this business kind of the same way you just mentioned of that story, where we just paid cash for everything, but every refrigerator, everything we had was used.
Yeah.
Our espresso machine was was used in like a couple of barista competitions, but it was 40% less than a brand new one that had not been used. So the whipped cream machine we have here, Carpigiani, top of the line, best whipped cream machine you can buy, $6,000 new. I was at an auction and picked it up for $50. Didn't even know what I was buying.
Holy cow!
Got it back here. It didn't work, and I started, looking at diagrams and figuring out what parts were missing. I ordered like $650 worth of parts, and I had a $6,000 whipped cream machine cranking out
for $700.
High quality whipped cream. So,
God,
being willing to put in the time, it just doesn't happen by thinking about it. You got to you got to research, and you got to figure things out, and work through it. But yeah, we had all this stuff in here. Pretty much, we started out was used, and I'm looking around, and it's almost all the same equipment.
Yeah,
13 years later. So there's some maintenance in there, obviously, but do some of the work yourself if you can. I think we spent maybe $90,000 opening the door here.
That's awesome.
If we hired a contractor and bought everything new, you can just take that and put it to about $160,000.
Yep. Yeah, which is
and that's other places. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference, and that's debt service.
Yep.
So if you're working in your business and you need to earn a living running your business, not everybody does, but if you do, making a $4,000 bank loan payment every month is your paycheck.
Yeah. Yep.
So part of your paycheck. So it's, just think about it that way.
Well, this underscores the point you made earlier, Chris, which is, I think a lot of people, it's pretty common to you want this like beautiful place and all this nice stuff, and you want it to be just this amazing experience when you come in. That is all great, but that has nothing to do with the people that are there. And that can be, everything can be brand new, sparkling, amazing. Like you walk in, it's just like this beautiful place. But if, and your food can be great, but if the people you have are not living up to that, then it doesn't matter. Which brings me to, y'all have been consistently good at this for all these years. How do you find? Are you very rigorous in your screening, or do you hire fast, fire fast, or like what's your philosophy on that?
Our philosophy with our staff is, well, as far as finding new staff, when we do have turnover, it's just like everybody else. Put a sign on the front door. We'll put up on Facebook, hey, we're hiring. We'll get interest, and we'll interview people, and you try and get a feel for people up front of who would be a good fit, who wouldn't be a good fit. We really don't care how much you know about POS, running a POS, or being a barista. Or I'm a firm believer that if you hire the right person, you can teach them anything.
Yeah.
So we're looking for good people.
Right.
And Maria, 15, she's the right person.
Yeah.
And we had another, I think, 14-year-old, Shira, way back when. Doesn't matter. We have people of all ages that come to work here. College graduates, just in between. They graduated from college, they're looking for the right job. And
yeah.
I have so many stories of the people that have worked here over the years. But hire the right person. Teach them what we want them to do, how we want them to do it. But we don't micromanage people. We let them be themselves. Bring your personality. We try and lead by example. Be positive at work. All this stuff. Everybody's got stuff. We're just like this. We know you've got a life outside of here. We know you've got stuff, stresses, concerns, all that. We just ask that you leave it outside. Come to work and do your best for the customers here. And if you still want to pick up that baggage on the way out the back door, go ahead and do it. But chances are, when you get around all the people and the customers and you're having a good day,
yeah, totally,
the baggage kind of just goes away.
Yeah.
So I treat everyone that's worked here as like they're one of my own family.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's the difference. People are always changing jobs. Our staff is our business. We don't have a business without a great staff.
Yeah.
And we understand that. We tell them that. We appreciate them. We pay them as much as we possibly can for this industry.
Yeah.
This isn't an industry, coffee shop where we realize this is a transitory job where you're in high school or you're in college, or maybe you're an adult and you're going back to school.
Right.
And we get that, but we pay them as much as we can for this business model.
Yeah.
We're not trying to shortchange our staff.
Yeah.
So that's it. We just treat them as our own, and it's one of the best parts of our business. We have very little turnover. We only hire just 1 or 2, 3 people a year. This industry is kind of unheard of, but the best part is we have people that go off to college, and when they come back for the holidays, they come back to work for us.
Yeah.
We have people that have worked here for 8 years that only work 2 shifts a year. One of my favorite stories is Keisha came to work for us actually at the mall kiosk. She had graduated UNC Charlotte, super talented dancer, and that was her dream, was to go be a professional dancer. And she worked here, super hardworking, Jamaican by descent, and finally got her break to go to New York City. We're so excited for her. She went to New York City and ended up being on Cardi B's concert dance.
Oh, wow.
And she's, I believe, at least last check, she was the top dancer for Cardi B. So,
holy cow.
But what's
awesome.
crazy about that is a year ago, she's in all this fame, and she come back to Charlotte because her mom's in Charlotte. She's like, hey, Krista, you care if I work a shift in cast iron waffles? And she came back and worked, like, heck no, come on back.
That is so cool,
she worked
man.
a shift here. So
that says so much for
we just love
that's
people.
Awesome.
Honestly, for us, we love people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we enjoy this business the most. And really, my wife Krista is in this shop much more than I am. I kind of get to do we built it together.
Yep.
And I worked in here every day for a year and a half, 2 years, just
yes, you did.
systemizing,
Yeah, sure.
just learning every little aspect of it. And now I've been relegated. We have an all-female staff, so they just get out of here, get. So now I'm relegated to fixing things that break, doing, counting, marketing, boring stuff like that. But it's all good.
I love it, man. That's so cool. What a great story. Her name's Keisha.
Keisha. Yep.
We'll have to look her up.
Yeah, she is a gem of a person.
Hey, if you're heading into spring and you're looking for any summer help, call me. My daughter's Bella's coming home early May.
We will.
If you have any openings at the time, man.
Summertime, we get busy because all the kids are back from college. Busier. A lot of places aren't as busy in the summer. Again, because young people love coming in here and hanging out. We get very busy in the summertime.
Okay. Yeah.
About the time all the kids come back from college. So.
Well, she just applied at Burton's, which is fine. But I was like, Bella, man, you got to work at like a cool independent place. Like we need to go like.
We'll get her in here.
Yeah, get her in here. I got. Have you ever been down to? Do you ever go to Waxhaw?
Love it down there.
A place called Cork and Ale.
We were just there Tuesday night.
Were you?
Yeah.
Do you know them?
Don't know the owners. I know they recently had a tragedy with one of their staff members. So terrible.
Freaking believable.
So terrible.
I need to get you connected with those guys. Bernard is the dude. He's one of the owners. He's the guy who we rented the RV from.
No way. He's probably happy you brought it back in one piece.
That's what I was telling my wife. I'm like, what? Like, I can't just hide. Like, this is Bernard's RV. Like, we're responsible for it. Like, we can't just, like, pay some dude to drive it.
You see an RV on a tow truck, something very bad has happened.
They did. They had a really, oh, man, that was brutal. I feel so bad for them and that family. They are good folks there. Bernard and Chris, I mean, they are, like, full on, you'd love them. I mean, just super, super dudes.
We love it in there. We're just there on Tuesday because Scoop Pittman comes out and plays there. He's a one-man show, and he's a great musician. And
is he? I've seen their
Tuesday nights.
I've seen their like Instagram ads for him.
Tuesday
or whatever.
night. It's the craziest thing. We walk in there on Tuesday night. This place is packed. Tuesday night in January.
Yeah,
packed. Scoop's having a good time, and it's just a great place. It reminds me honestly of our shop. The feel of it. Small.
Yep.
Intimate. Very cool.
Seems like there should be a cast iron Waffles right there in Waxhaw, man.
Yeah.
Somewhere right there on Main Street.
It would be, I think, a good location. And I say that all the time. We have family down in Venice, Florida. It's growing. I mean, Florida's crazy right now. How it's growing.
Yeah.
Would go great there.
Yeah.
Really go great anywhere. Right person, right location.
Right person, right location.
And I think that's true of a lot of concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Most. People want to spend money on things that are good.
Yeah.
They want a good experience. Which is just service.
Yep.
And they want a good product. And we've said from the beginning, we have to set ourselves apart. We're not Starbucks. We're not big chain. We're none of that. We're uniqueness of product and great service.
Yep.
Just making a contact with our customer.
Yep.
And saying, hey, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And you said that. Your business. That's your kind of what you do. You go
100%.
out and build relationships. And
100%.
Again, we love people.
People like to feel appreciated. I mean, it's amazing, dude. It's actually kind of. It still gets me to this day. Like I get our phone calls. Like when I'm in town, they still come to me, and almost all the phone calls are just. I mean, literally 99% of them are just. I need to update my credit card.
Yeah.
And maybe they're out and they're not online. They just want to give me the number or whatever. And every time, whenever somebody calls and like we're wrapping up, I'm like, hey, listen, I just want you to know, like, we appreciate you. Thank you for the business. We're really proud to serve y'all. And I mean, I'm not even kidding. Sometimes people will laugh, and it's almost just like they laugh only because they're like so. It's like, oh yeah, like no problem. They're so blown away that somebody like took the time to just show genuine appreciation.
Isn't that amazing? Thank you.
I mean, to me, it's like. It's amazing because it's like that's just like common sense, but the bar, unfortunately, and then I guess in some ways fortunately, the bar is so low. If you just do those things, like just look people in the eye, thank them, let them know that you appreciate, I mean, people can spend their money anywhere they want, and but they're going to keep going to are the places where they feel like everybody wants to feel appreciated. They want to feel known and appreciated. Like that's it. Like it's not that hard, like to just do that, and then people will keep coming back because they feel good there.
There's such a coarseness in our society these days, going through COVID and all this stuff, and people have gotten hardened by it a little bit, and it's amazing if you just break through that outer shell
Yeah.
Krista comes home every day. She's like, oh, tells me story after story. Because when she meets a customer, hey, have you ever been in? No, never been in. Oh, tell us about our product. That's whatever. Here's what we sell. How's your day going? What are you out doing today? It's amazing. People, they want to tell you about, oh, I'm with my grandson here.
Totally.
And they'll go on for several minutes about that. And nobody ever asks them about their day.
No.
So,
it's so rare. I know. It's just...
and it's not flattery. I really want to know.
Just interested in people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a big difference between flattery and, sincere curiosity and
Well, this
praise.
is what I was talking about earlier, and I think it was before we were recording, about that hospitality. There's just something there in people that get it and that do well in this industry. It's like that's what hospitality is. It's inviting people into your home and showing them
taking care of people.
Taking good care of people.
Sure.
And if you don't have that instinct to want to know, it's probably not the right place for you. But if you do, you'll thrive, because people will always want that. We can automate. You can have fast food places that may eventually not even have an employee because they're just flipping out burgers on a machine and whatever, and that's fine, whatever. But man, people will always want to go be in a place where there's people that are good people that care about them. That
100%. Fast food, you mentioned that. It's almost unrecognizable now post-COVID.
Yep.
That used to be like a convenience thing. Oh, I'm hungry. I'll stop by and get something. I just pass them by now. And I hate to say that, but none of them have dine-in anymore. Most of them don't have dine-in.
Yeah.
It's all drive-through, and the quality is just not great. And it's really gone off a cliff. And I think that's because it's an entity. It's not necessarily people.
Right.
And that's what you're saying. And I think that's why so many people do seek out local small businesses.
I just noticed did that Buffalo Wings and Rings close?
It did. January is a bad month. Everybody don't keep it going through December, because that's the holidays and they make some money. But January, you find out who's been struggling for sure.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
So they just closed.
Yeah, I just noticed it last week driving by.
I mean, candidly, I'm surprised that they were there as long as they were.
I agree.
I don't drive by a lot or whatever, but it's just, I don't know.
We do.
Yeah, I bet you do.
On the way here.
It just doesn't ever seem like a lot of folks there. Well, I wonder it's a big space.
Big space.
It's
in a fantastic location.
It is in a fantastic location.
I think that was a second owner.
What was it?
Frank owned it originally, and he just eventually, it was a franchise, and that's another hesitation of franchising, because I have several friends that are franchisees, and they're always fighting with the franchisor. So that's a dynamic that if we were to franchise, I would avoid at all costs, because I'm a big believer in business that if you're going to have a deal, make a deal, that everyone at the table should win.
What are some of the things you hear people
deal.
fighting about, like generally?
Oh, it's always, I've been running this for 10 years and I'm paying this percentage, and they're not spending the marketing money that I'm paying them.
Oh,
and
right.
It's always something. They're pushing you have to serve this month, and that's a terrible product, and I don't want to serve that. It's kind of disingenuous on one hand, because here's this franchise company that developed a great concept, taught you how to run it, and you weren't an entrepreneur. Most people that buy franchises are not necessarily entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I've been self-employed my entire life. I've owned many different types of businesses.
Yeah.
From construction to retail to this to other things. But many people that buy franchises, they've maybe had a corporate job, they've made money, they have money to invest. I'm like, I want to own a franchise and do that. So they're not entrepreneur by nature, which is a perfect fit for franchise owners.
Yep.
They're really looking for people that are better at following a system,
following a process,
than people that want to invent it themselves. But what happens is, I think, this is my theory, they run the franchise for a few years and they become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because they're self-employed now.
Yeah.
They go through the trials and they see what's working, what's not working, and then they develop their own ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the friction starts to come in.
Yeah.
Because you now have an entrepreneur that has his own ideas, and he kind of forgot that he didn't develop this concept.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that's my biggest hesitation right there. I don't want to live with friction with 20 different people.
Right.
50. 5.
It would be, that'd probably be a constant battle and balance to find.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already super aware of it, so you'd be real intentional about it. But
Right.
it would really take getting the right people, and then knowing that probably it's still going to happen some.
Human nature is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I can't wait to find out what you decide to do. It'll be fun either way, man.
We may open 1 or 2 more just with our family. You know, just we don't necessarily want to run another one, Chris and I, for long distance or anything like that. But if we have a family member or someone close to us that decides that they want to do that, then we would certainly help them do that.
Come to Waxhaw. Come
Yeah.
to Waxhaw.
That would be a good spot down there. It's a great town.
It is a great town. Well, dude, I really appreciate this, man. It's fun catching
love
up.
it, Will. Always like talking to you.
I'm serious. If you're like looking around in the spring, you're like, we probably need a little help. Let me know. I'll talk to Bella.
Hit me up when she's about done with school.
Okay.
We'll
All
get
right.
her. Everybody starts the same way. We tell everyone when you go to hire, someone moves on and whatever, like, okay, we need to hire somebody.
Yeah.
It's always a very part time. It's like you're the low guy in the
Yeah.
totem pole. It's like,
Right.
hey, listen, this might be 1 or 2 shifts,
Yeah.
but then a week.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody the same thing. Anyone that really wants to work a lot can usually do it.
Yeah.
Because you start asking, hey, you want to give up your shift? You want to give up your shift?
Yeah.
People always want hours until you schedule them a ton of hours, and then they want to get rid
Then
of
they want to
shifts.
get their shifts.
So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, if you really want to work, get
Yeah.
aggressive about it and start asking around, and trust me, you'll find some shifts.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Absolutely.
People that want to work will find a way.
Yep. That's right. All right, man. I need to get you down to the farm sometime. We're gonna have a.
How you liking it down there?
I love it,
I
man.
bet you do.
I love it.
A little
I
more
do.
elbow room.
A lot of elbow room. It's kind of a mess right now. We've got, I think there's 10 horses out there right now.
Yours?
2 are ours. They came with the
Nice.
play, and they're old. Like, they're not like, they just
If you
sit
ride it,
around and
it might be the end.
You don't ride them. Yeah. But there's a young lady who rescues horses from bad conditions, and she keeps them there until she can find a permanent home, or she'll lease them out if they're like equestrian horses. And so it's been great. She's there twice a day, and then she takes care of ours. But then there's a lot of horse poop, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
What horses do.
There's a lot
All
of it right
day.
now. In fact, I got to go back this afternoon and get on the tractor. I got like a scraper, and I go scrape it. But it was so wet in December, I couldn't get out there. Like every time I'd want to get out there, it was like
So
rain
wet.
again. So
Hey, that's therapy, Will, getting out on the land like that.
it is. You would dig it, dude. I'm telling you, got to
Love
come out
being
there.
outside
We're gonna
doing
have
that
a
stuff.
big party this spring. We have a big bonfire pit, and so we're gonna do a big bonfire. And I have this giant grill out there, so we'll do make up these really good bison burgers, and we'll have some beer, and we're gonna have a band, which is Sean Wilfong, who owns Leroy Fox
I've heard of it, yeah.
and Mortimer's and Cowbell. Cowbell's a burgers and whiskey uptown. Well, he's also in a band, like a really good band. Like they play like bluegrass and banjo. I think he plays a banjo, and so we're gonna have them set up. And
You had me at bonfire.
yeah.
Bluegrass? Come on.
Well,
Great.
we're gonna raise money for. We did this like on a small scale about a month ago. I just had like 10 buddies over there, and we raised a little money for our customer out in Boulder. Hosea and Lauren Rosenberg have this daughter, Sophie, and they're not for profit at Sophie's neighborhood. So when Sophie was 3. There was something weird going on. They were trying to figure out what was happening, and they found out she has this very, very super rare genetic disorder called MCT is the acronym, and essentially, like there's like 50 people in the world that have it, and it's is not a good outlook. So we're going to raise money for that. It's hard to raise money when there's only 50 people that, like who's going to fund, right? So
For sure, yeah.
anyway, so we try to have a fun way to, help
yeah.
them out.
Be all over that.
But anybody listening, Sophie's Neighborhood is the not-for-profit. Go check it out. I mean, if you watch the video about her, like you'll just be like, how can I help?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
Great folks, great parents.
That's
Hosea was
cool.
They have two just incredible restaurants out in Boulder, Santo and Black Belly. Jose won that show. That I've never seen it, but it's called like Top Chef.
Oh wow!
He won it one year, and super
So he's
talented
in the
dude,
kitchen.
and yeah, really talented dude. And this just happened like 2 years ago. She was 3. She's 5 now, so she was 3, and So anyway, so we'll try to do raise awareness about that in a really fun
That sounds good.
Environment.
That's a all-around win for everybody.
Yeah, man, it'll be fun. So we'll
Cool.
We'll get that date nailed down here in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, man, I'd love to get you out there sometime. And
Anytime.
if you ever need to like chop some wood or something like that, call me up, man.
I love holding an axe. Come on. Absolutely. I'm looking at these socks. Will, did you bring these for me?
Dude, those things. Yeah, dude, I definitely brought those for y'all.
Okay.
Those are popular.
These are our staff and my girls are going to fight over these.
Those are some popular items, man.
We got some good Schedule Fly gear.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Chris. It's
Yeah.
really good catching up.
Yeah,
And,
you too, bud.
Just enjoy this a lot. And I'll, when I go down there, and it'll probably be like 2 or 3 weeks, but I'll go down there and record an episode with Maria. I'll send you the link, man.
You give her a big hug from both Krista and I.
I will.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you all for
Appreciate you,
listening.
bud.
That's
Yeah.
a wrap.